friends, thanks for coming along for Embellish with Us Wednesdays. Embellish with Us Wednesdays is hosted by Lilo Crafts and Marianne's Craft Corner, and it's a chance for us to show off some embellishments that maybe we had made throughout the week. It's an open collab, so if you would like to join in, you can do that. They just would like to make sure that you use the hashtag Embellish with Us Wednesdays. And then it's always a good thing to put the hosts in your description box. I'll be starting on a fairy journal soon, so I figured I would go ahead and start working on some fairy ephemera. But I'm very excited to tell you that I made another embellishment today to share in this video with you, and it is for the Seaside journal that I made, and I'm really excited about it, and I can't wait to show it to you. I also want to mention real quick that I am having my Road to 2K giveaway challenge, and I will link that video in my description box in case you want to participate. These first two pieces that I made, I didn't really like the way they turned out, but I want to share with you what I did that I didn't like, so that maybe you won't make that same mistake. So on these two cards, I was adding some fairies, and it was made on either rice paper or some sort of paper that has like cloth in it. Anyway, it's really cool paper and I really enjoy it, but I should not have put it on a dark card like this. The image itself blends in a little bit too much for my taste. Now the first one didn't come out too bad, but I wasn't really happy with this one because the card had too much of a pattern and it was too dark. So I just wanted to mention that to you guys so that if you work with paper that is slightly transparent, you won't make that mistake. So I'm going to go ahead and use some other pieces that I had cut out, actually tore out, and I'm going to put those on this nice light pink paper. I am using, as you can see, a paintbrush, but also my Mod Podge. I am going to adhere those into place on this paper next to each other, but with a little bit of space in between, and that way I can tear them out. I want a nice rough edge on these embellishments. I have these little tiny ones that I want to work with, and the cut is not perfect. There's just the slightest, very tiny edge where there's a little bit of white. So I'm going around the edge with my purple marker, and it's basically the same as inking. It just gives it, it'll fill in any white that there might be. I'm going to Mod Podge those onto the top of the page, and then we will be ready to tear them out. I'm going to tear the large ones, but then the small square ones at the top, I'm going to go ahead and cut those. Alright, so we have a moon and a star here. I've had these in my stash for a little while. Those were gifted to me from one of you lovely friends out there, and thank you for sending them to me. And I think they will be perfect to turn into embellishments for the fairy journal. So I'm just going around the edge real quick with, I think, pink ink. I'm going to adhere this one onto the moon, and then I'm going to choose one of the other ones to adhere onto the star, and then we will go ahead and embellish them further. I found some fabric that I think will look really nice with the pink and the purple that we have going on here. So I am going to go ahead and adhere that with my, well, I was going to say my Fabri-Tac, but I finally ran out of it, and I am going to use some all-in-one. So I was wondering what could I embellish additionally on here, and so I grabbed a purple flower and it doesn't have a center. I'm not sure if it came off or what. And I'm going to put that on the one with the star. And the one with the moon, I have these flat back sparkly things, and I went ahead and put that on there. And here goes these the flower, the purple flower. But on top of that, I'm going to use this fun little the purple piece that my friend Kathy of Kathy's Favorite Things sent to me a while back. And she sent me a variety of colors, but I think this one will work perfect on the star. Well, here these two are. I have more coming up, but here's the two finished ones so far, and I think they turned out pretty cute. Coming up next, I have something I am really excited to share with you. I had never seen it done before, and I saw it just a couple of days ago, and I knew I had to give it a try. So I'm going to make these embellishments for the Seaside journal that I've been working on. So I've got two large safety pins, and on that part that opens up, I'm going to simply put some beads and this very small dangle on there. And I'm going to do that to both of them. Now we're going to make it so that these can become embellishments in a junk journal. So as you can see, I have this really cool fabric, and I'm using it because to me it looks like either a fancy blue fish or a mermaid. But at any rate, I feel like it's something I can use inside of the Seaside journal. Now what you do is you take the fabric and you wind it through the part that doesn't have the bead on it. And then that's where the glue is going to go. Now I'm going to admit to you that this was a little bit fiddly for me at first because I had never done it before. So the first thing I did was I tried glue stick, and that did not work. Well, it didn't work for this fabric, and I wasn't going to use the glue stick to be permanent. I just sort of wanted it to hold it into place temporarily, but it just, I don't know, I won't be doing that again. So at any rate, I got the page that I want to adhere this to, and I'm trying to just, right here you see me fiddling around, trying to figure out what the best course of action is. So at some point in time, yeah, here I am, I'm testing it. So I'm looking to see, maybe it's a little bit, the fabric's a little long. I probably should trim that up so it doesn't, go onto the page quite as far. All of that. Just, sometimes the first time you do something, it's just a little awkward, right? Not difficult, just awkward. So now I'm going to use the 3-in-1 that I have, and I was really hesitating on should I put it on both sides of this fabric because I knew it was going to end up that it could possibly be a mess. And it wasn't too bad. I was really careful with it. That's why I look so fiddly, because I was trying to be careful and not get glue absolutely everywhere. But I did pretty good with it. So here I am. I'm wrapping it over the page, and now I have officially added the embellishment to the book. I'm going to use the clothespins just to hold it down, hold it firmly until it dries. So I've got one more of those that I want to adhere to another page. This one went a little bit more smoothly, I think, because obviously it wasn't the first time for me to do it. It was the second time now. As you can see, I trimmed it up, and then I tried it on, and then I thought, you know what, I'm going to trim that up again just to make sure it's not too big. Now this time I'm adding the glue before I put the pin, put it through the pin. And I was a little bit afraid to do that because I knew, again, it might be a little bit of a gluey mess. But that's what we do when we're first learning how to do something, is we are just sort of trying it out the best ways that we can. That didn't end up being too much of a mess. The material wound through there perfectly fine. And here we go. We have attached that to the journal, and I just absolutely love these embellishments. I think they are so incredibly cool. I gave them a couple of minutes to dry, but here they are dried, and how cool do they look? I absolutely love them. So if I see safety pins at the thrift store, I will definitely be grabbing them. I hope I mentioned that I got this idea from my friend Janet Nash, and I will link her channel in my description box. Now, remember those ones in the beginning that we adhered to the paper and then tore them? Well, I wanted to give them time to dry completely, and they are now, since we did our other little activity. And now I'm just going to go ahead and add the, what do we call this? It's the gold. Oh my goodness, I forget every time. It's gilding paste. So what I did is I took a makeup sponge and I got it wet, and now I'm just dipping it into the gilding paste and then putting that around each one of these papers, and look at how gorgeous that is. So all three of them are done here. I also feel inspired to add a little bit of fabric to each one of those, and this is the fabric I chose. It's got pink, gold, and a little bit of green. This piece of fabric that I tore is about 1 inch wide, and I feel like I want it to be thinner, so I'm going to see if I can try to tear that in half one more time. I was able to, so now I'm going to take that and I'm going to cut that into small pieces. I also feel like I want to add some really light fabric. So this is sort of it's not gauze, but it's a very, very light, fine, thin fabric. So I'm cutting a small piece of that. I'm pulling the edges just to make it look sort of tattered. And I think I want to use some of that for layering on these pieces of cardstock. I don't feel like the white piece is, I don't know, scraggly enough or small enough. So I trimmed it up again, and now I'm pulling some more off the edges. I just really want it to look tattered. That looks great to me, so I'm going to go ahead and adhere that to the corner, and then I'm going to go ahead and layer that with 2 pieces of the other fabric. And I need to apologize to you guys. I had zoomed in my camera. I can't remember why or when I did it, but I zoomed it in, and so I'm hoping that I'm not going to have too much work that's off camera. But as I'm noticing while I'm editing that I'm really close up, I just wanted to mention it. I'm going to go ahead and use another one of those purple flowers, and then I have another one of those purple pieces that my friend Kathy of Kathy's Favorite Things gave me. All right, this one is all done. I added some fabric and a flower and the centerpiece, which was given to me by Kathy of Kathy's Favorite Things. I added some stickles to her fairy wings. You saw me do the gilding around the edges, and I think it turned out really super, super pretty. Then the next one that I finished up is this one, and you can see that I went around it with the gilding, the gold gilding paste, fabric, a flower underneath the button, and then a little bit of stickles just to give a little sparkle here and there. Let me see if I can, there we go. I think you can see it if I move it that way. I did it real fine. I didn't want it to be over the top. And then I finished this one, and fabric, a button, the gilding paste, and then more sparkles on these pretty purple flowers. And I will, there, I think you might be able to see them. Again, I did them super, super fine. You can see them in person, but they're not showing up on camera. I don't think they're showing up on camera. I'm not spotting them when I'm moving the paper around. But anyway, hopefully when I watch it back, I will see them. So here are these. And then you guys know I did these. I already showed these to you. I might go ahead and add some stickles to these too, since it does add such a nice touch. Definitely I'll add some to her fairy wings. And then the safety pins that I put in the junk journal. So friends, I appreciate you spending time with me. Thanks for watching. See you soon.